All right. Hello, you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. Just a big thank you to everybody who has bought some tea the last couple days. Thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated as always. I certainly hope that your weekend and Monday are going and have gone well. It's Tuesday noontime here in Taiwan, and today I'm going to do I'm going to do a couple different things. One, I opened this up. So there's a couple people, one person in particular, well, a couple of guys in particular actually, who seem to really enjoy the teas that I share, and usually buy a lot of tea. And so I haven't shared this tea particularly with anybody. This is the Mao Cha from Alishan. So this is the tea from Alishan that is. This is the tea from Alishan, the mayor's Mao Cha, that I'm going to roast myself. But holy crap, it's good. It's so good. I don't know if I'm going to roast it or not. I've had it sitting on the floor in all of its bags for the last little while. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to put some hot water in it and let it go and sample it. But what is the main course of today? The main course of today is I bought some Baozong. And I bought this Baozong at the tea show. And I don't know if anybody saw the stories or what happened at the tea show. But it wasn't really a tea show. It was this big old fair type thing in downtown New Taipei City. And I bought this tea from a vendor. I haven't been to his farm, but I checked out everything, and everything was like, everything was online. They had all this stuff. You can see here there's these little stickers on the bottom there where you can find out where exactly it came from and all that stuff. And so that was that. And it was. I tasted it. It's good tea, but it's conventional tea. It's conventional tea. It is not organic. And because there were some people, there were some sort of wholesale clients who, were asking me for Baozong teas. And this right here is the pinnacle of Baozong teas. This is the Old Master Baozong. So this is it. This beautiful, beautiful Old Master Baozong tea. And I had this problem because I can only get a little bit of that tea. It's extraordinarily expensive. And I've been looking and looking and looking. I just cannot find authentic, good, clean Baozong teas, like organic teas. Now, there's a difference between clean and conventional and all those different types of things. And obviously, it's a spectrum and all those different types of things. But I really wanted to sit down today and really go into the differences between, say, a clean conventional and a clean conventional tea versus the pinnacle of organic cleanliness. All right, so that's what I really wanted to go into today. All right, to talk about and to really see it and to really go into it and to do a sort of a deep dive in very similar teas, but one of them is extraordinarily, amazingly clean. The other one is just a good tea that's conventionally grown. And how they taste, how they, with your body and all these different types of things, blah, blah, blah. Now, the conventionally grown Baozong here, I bought it. I haven't released it yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send it out to some people, see if some people like it. I've already sent it out to a couple. And if they just want to buy it, then they can buy it. If not, then I'm going to just put it up for sort of, I'll just call it like conventional Baozong or something like that. But I really wanted to go into it right here and sort of, because, the Old Master Baozong is one of those teas that's just a crazy tea. Everything you want to say about it, the Baozong tea, everything you want to say about whether a tea is high quality or low quality and blah, 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 blah. It's the exact opposite. So Usually when you're seeing a low quality tea, you're seeing a lot of bubbles, a really cloudy liqueur. You're seeing different colored leaves, things like that. But that's Old Master Bautzong. It's just, it looks like, it just looks so, you can see them here. They got more bubbles. There's more sort of stuff on the top, like all of those different types of things. It's just, it doesn't look like it. Now, the conventional Bautzong here, you can see, and I'll put it up to the camera so you can see. This is on YouTube, and it's on Facebook, and it's also on Instagram. So if you want to listen to it again, you can go to those places. But you can see here, like it's very, very uniform, right? So it's very, very uniform. It's got uniform color and flavor, or not flavor, but uniform. Well, sometimes actually with the conventional one's very uniform flavor as well. But it's just basically uniform everything, right? So just that's, you look at that, the conventional one, you go, oh, that's a high quality tea. Not necessarily. You got to taste it. Right? There's certain things you can tell from the actual leaves, but certain things you cannot. Now, this is the Old Master Bautzong here, and let's see if you can tell the difference. So you can see here, it's hard to tell. But anyways, there are different colors. There's different things going on, right? So it's not quite as uniform as the other one, as the conventional one. There's different sized leaves. The leaves are slightly different colors, and some things like that. So it doesn't look the same. Now, when you are evaluating a tea, whether you're telling whether a tea is good or not, remember, the most important thing is what it does to your body, how you feel after drinking it, of course. But there's these tricks, right? So you can look at these things. So again, I'm looking at these teas, right? Here's the Old Master Bautzong. I look at it. It's actually cloudy. It's not supposed to be cloudy, right? When you're looking at these teas, it's not supposed to be cloudy. It's just not, right? Now this one here is the conventional one. It's much more clear. It's much more it's not as cloudy as the Old Master Bautzong. You're not supposed to, like, if you were just not tasting them, you'd say, oh, this is a lower quality one. This is a higher quality one. Right? So again, that just comes with experience. So here we go. Let's try the conventional one. Now, when you're sampling these two side by side, what am I looking for? I'm looking for, actually, I really should do a video on this. Actually, I should write some stuff up on this is what I should do. But for me, how I talk about and evaluate the teas, you got the front, right? Your first, the way the tea, the upfront, the way the tea feels, the way it tastes first. Then you got the mid-mouth, and then you've got the aftertaste. So I sort of divide it into three. And I talk about the actual flavors, but I talk about thickness versus lightness. And I also talk about roundness and all of these various other shapes and things like that. And so I'll be using those characteristics. Any questions about that stuff, throw them in the chat. Everybody tastes differently, but that's sort of the way I do it. I do sort of 3D, all sorts of various ways of doing it. So this is the conventional tea. And what you get first is, this is Bautzong. You get a blast of, oh, I know what this tea is, right? That's what you get first. The mid-mouth is actually pretty empty. There's not too much going on in the mid-mouth. It moves to sort of the aftertaste fast. And then the aftertaste, well, the upfront is just so like, Bautzong. And then you get into the aftertaste, and the aftertaste is very, very pleasant. It's quite nice. Now, for me, when I would be drinking this, right? So what is the flavor of a Bautzong? You're looking at a beautiful, creamy, floral, sweet, grassy vegetal. Right? That's what Bautzong is. That's why people like it. That's why people enjoy it. And so this is such a classic Bautzong taste. It's just conventional Bautzong. Now, the difference with this one, I can see right away, the liqueur is a lot thicker, a lot more cloudy, right? Fascinating. So with the Old Master Bautzong, the upfront is more muddled, It's not quite as crisp and clear as this. Right. So this, you just take a little bit and you're like, boom, Baozong. With this one, the upfront a little bit more muddled. The upfront is not quite so classically Baozong-y. It's more sort of just generalized oolong, grassy. The mid-mouth, on the other hand, is so thick. It is just like, boom, just, like thick and wide, creamy. The swallow is smooth. And then the aftertaste is the best part of the tea. And one of the things that I guess I used to say this a lot, but now I almost predominantly drink organic teas. I don't drink a lot of conventional teas at all anymore. Organic teas and teas that are grown with care in an agrochemical-free way. The upfront can be really beautiful, but it's really hard to control without a lot of fertilizer. But the aftertaste is what you cannot fake. You cannot fake the aftertaste. So what this is giving me, and it shouldn't be giving me this, but it's giving me a warmness, fullness, length, breadth, strength, just that menthol flavor. When you breathe out, you're getting the taste of the tea. I say menthol, I don't mean mint, although you can get that with things like, say, for example, Ruby 18 and things like that. But it's a menthol, the flavor of it is mentholy. It comes out like that. And it's fascinating, right? Because you can only get that from absolutely authentically, organically clean teas. That's where you get it from. And I shouldn't say only. You can have teas that are conventional in the sense that they might have used something at some point, but clean. It's got to be clean, right? So again, the upfront, not as dramatic as this. Yeah, you can tell, oh, it's Baozong, okay. Mid-mouth, nice and thick and clear. Then the aftertaste is like this warming thing in your belly that just sort of goes up and then spreads out. And then your saliva becomes all the best aspects of the tea. You're getting more saliva and it's just thick, and like you drink a little bit of it and you're just like, whoa. It's like that idea, when you eat a nutrient-dense food, right? The classic example would be a nutrient-dense steak or something like that, right? If you eat, and thankfully the people watching this don't, but if you eat McDonald's food or something like that, I haven't had McDonald's for 20 years, but, the classic idea is you just keep eating because you're unsatiated. You just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, right? Because you just don't get it. Whereas you eat like a really good piece of steak, you eat like this much and you're like, oh, that's good, I'm full. And that's what you're getting with the cleaner teas. That really is. That's exactly what you're getting with the cleaner teas. You're getting that sense of fullness, that sense of satiation, whatever it means to be a tea, you're getting it, right? That thickness. So here we go. Going back to the conventional. Fascinating, right? So the upfront is where the conventional teas, that's what they want to do, because most of the time, people that are drinking these teas, they're not going after the people that are watching this video, right? They're not going after the real sort of tea connoisseur type people. They're not. That's not their market, right? That's not their market. Their market is the people passing through that would drink it and go, oh yeah, oh look at that, tastes like Baozong, sort of a thing. And that day when I was there, it was hot, but I must have sampled about 40 different Baozongs, and this one was a really good example of your classic Baozong, right? This is like your perfect example of what a Baozong is, a conventional one. And so when I'm, putting these side by side and talking about these things, by no means am I saying this is bad. By no means am I saying this is a terrible Baozong. But there is, okay, so say, for example, this has had, my guess is, a mix between organic and agrochemical fertilizer on it. How would you tell? Well, there is a sort of the vegetal is very, very sharp. So how do you tell whether it's had the the agrochemical fertilizer on it. I can tell it in my bones, like in my body as well, especially really heavy, heavily agrochemical fertilizer teas. I can actually feel it. It's a heaviness. With this tea, I can feel it, right? It's there, right? It's not like extreme. I can still enjoy this tea and still drink it and enjoy it, right? I mean, the aftertaste is still quite nice. But again, there's a heaviness to it, and there is a heaviness to the vegetal. So when you drink it, there's a bit of a sharper vegetal to it because of that agrochemical fertilizer. And that's real, right? Agrochemical fertilizer, you can actually tell really easily if a tea has had that. And this one certainly has. Now, not a lot, but enough for it to be for it to be quite, I'm using this Chinese word, mingxian, very easy to tell. Very easy to tell. And overall, going into the second steep here, it's great. It's a really nice tea, right? It's a really nice, conventional, agrochemically grown tea, relatively clean. Like as these things go, it's relatively clean, traceable, and all that type of stuff. But when you put it up against, and this is not fair. There are bad tasting organic baozongs. There really are, right? There are bad tasting organic baozongs, but this is not it, right? This is the Old Master baozong. This is the pinnacle of what it means to be a baozong tea. The differences in how the body feels and all of those things. It's just different, right? It's just different. Now, I'm going to jump into my holographic view of the world. And, but this is a great example of something that you get if you live your life well. If you're around somebody where you meet them up front and they're like really easy to be around, really nice, all those different types of things, then you spend a little more time with them and you're like, whoa, there's nothing there. It's quite empty. Right? Versus the person when you first meet them, you might feel like, oh, okay, they're normal, but then there is this deep sort of connection that you build with them. That's very easy to see. The feel of the person, right? A situation, a job, any type of food thing, it's all the same, right? Even like a movie or something like that, a book, it's all the same. It's this holographic way of viewing it. When you're looking at something that is authentic, that hasn't had something artificially added to it, it's always the same. It gives you the same feelings. It gives you the same mode every single time. Always. It's just holographic, right? One little thing, the entire world in the grain of salt type of thing. And it's fascinating. Again, this is a really good conventional baozong, and then this is the pinnacle of what it means to be a baozong tea. But we're going to put these aside for a minute, and we're going to pull up the Mare's tea. Now, I feel bad. I should have bought more of this tea. And the reason I should have bought more of this tea, the reason I didn't, was because when I went to go visit this tea garden, the weather had made it so that the season was not good. Everybody was saying, oh, this season's going to be crap. Oh, this season's going to be crap. And so the mayor, for his various reasons, we won't get into it, but we've talked about the mayor before. But I was worried that this tea was going to be crap. And I was actually not going to buy this tea at all. But then I made a mistake, and so I bought some of it by accident. And it turns out it was great. Now, when I first got it, it was freshly made, just a couple days old. It's been sitting for about, 3 weeks now, 4 weeks, almost a month. I guess it's been sitting for about a month now. And I opened up, I hadn't had it since. It's been sitting there for a month. I just opened it up, and it needs a roast, but holy crap, it's good. This is really, really, really good. So again, this is the Mayor's Alishan Milk Oolong. This is the milk tea, right? So this is the ginger and cultivar, and I was really worried about this because there was going to be really, really, really big, huge picks and really, really small picks. But it looks like he went through and he was able to get just the right size picks, and it wasn't too bad. Oh well, it just worked. So you can see some of them are this big, and then some of them are this big. And so usually when you have this, usually when it's like this, you're just done. You're done. It's just, it tastes like crap. Now, why would it taste like crap when there's different sizes like that? Very simply, you're getting a different sized pick. So during the processing, you're getting an uneven processing, and it's really, 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 really hard to process. Basically what it boils down to. And this actually worked out okay. Now I'm going to put a roast on this, and I'm going to experiment with this. And you know what? There's a sweetness to this, there's a fruitiness to this, and I am going to do the very, very sort of the Alishan Milk Oolong style of roasting on this tea. And I'm excited because I think I'm going to be able to caramelize some of the sweetness. And if I get lucky, I'm going to be able to create a pretty special tea. I'm going to be able to create a pretty special tea out of this, if I get lucky. But wow, that's great. I'm going to put some mid roast. I'm going to try some heavy roast on this. But last year it was really wet processing, and so last year, or it was 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Anyways, last year or 2 years ago, it wasn't all that good. There's a little bit of bitterness in here. Right now, this is unfinished tea. It's still a little bit wet, but it's really good. It's sweet and it's milky and it's got fruit. It's way better than last year's harvest. Awesome. Awesome. All right. I think that's it. Any questions? Just throw them in the chat right now. Today is Tuesday. This is like the worst time all over the world. People in Europe haven't really woken up yet. People in North America are in bed or asleep. But I had some time, so I thought I would throw out a quick live stream comparing these two teas and sort of talking about it. And yeah. Once again, thank you everybody who's bought tea for the last couple of days. The classics are out. There's still a couple of hours left, about 24 hours left before the sale ends. And who knows, I might even do a Reddit thing in a bit. Do you have an opinion on Baozong teas from Pingling versus Nangang? Wow. Okay, so this is an extraordinarily... Here's a tea nerd question. This is a deep tea nerd question. So let's describe the two. Nangang is an interesting place because it is right across the street from Muza. So Muza and Nangang are not far away from each other, and they are north facing. Pingling is a much larger area, gets a lot more rain, It's a softer environment, and it has a softer tea. Now, Muza is famous for its heavily roasted teas. We've talked about that in the past, about why that is. Nangang also does. Nangang is sort of like the third wheel. So you got Muza, and you've got Pingling, and then you've got Nangang. Nangang is the third wheel. And it has an amazing history. There was a massacre there. There's a cave. It's an amazing place. So the people that still live on Nangang are very strange. They are the jaded survivors of they're connected to the massacre, and they're connected. You can look up the history. I don't know the history offhand. I don't remember it exactly, but there was a cave, and there was, I think, during the Japanese time period, there's massacres, or even the White Terror. I can't remember whether it was the White Terror or the Japanese time period. Forgive me. I forget the details, but there is a cave up there, and there was a massacre in Nangang. And so the people there are a little bit different. There wasn't the same thing that sort of happened in Pingling, or certainly not as concentrated as it happened in Nangang. So they have their own ways of doing things, but they're also pretty, they're very jaded. And so I've done a lot of interesting sort of things around that. I don't buy their teas anymore. The reason I don't buy their teas anymore is mostly because when I went there, their organic gardens are surrounded by areas that were sprayed with chemicals. So the organic gardens, it was, I won't tell the whole story, but it's a pretty fascinating story. I don't buy teas from Nangang, even though the teas are very, very cheap. Now, in general, I would love to buy them, but I don't. I haven't been able to find sort of the things, and I stopped going there a couple of years ago to look. Because I found that because it's sort of the third wheel in those three different places, the teas that are grown there are not as, it's not quite suited for the stuff that grows in Mutsa, because Mutsa is like this valley, and it's very, very, it's hard to grow things there, but when things grow there, they grow really, really well, and then they roast them and do a really good job. It's more exposed than Mutsa, but it's not quite as wild and far away as Pingling. Like Pingling is quite wild and far away. And so the Nangang teas that I've had, and that was the classic Baocong, the Osmanthus Baocong in the past, things like that, they just weren't that good. They just weren't that good. They didn't have that real deep essence. And I also, the people that were there, I couldn't really trust them that much. They were quite suspicious of outsiders, right? Obviously. And so I didn't feel like that I had there was very much like hitting a wall there. I didn't have that connection. Whereas in other places, there's definitely a connection that I can get quite easily with a lot of other people. But I didn't feel that with the people in Nangang. But it's a great question. I should go back, right? So, for example, the Osmanthus Baocong, when it's done well, it's really fun. It's a beautiful tea. But you can't really get it until sort of, I guess, December, November, something like that. But I should go back. So maybe in the fall this year, I'll scoop out some time, but I'll go back. But it's a great question. But that's a tea nerd question, and because they're all very close together, right? They're all very close together, like all within like a 30-minute drive of each other. Nangang and Mutsa in particular are very, very close together. But yeah, great question. Hopefully that answers it. Hopefully that answers it. And it's flavored also by my own experiences there. So perhaps it's not that bad anymore. Who knows? Perhaps it's not that bad. But any other questions? That was a deep dive, a very, very good deep Baocong question from Cam there. But yeah, okay, sounds good. So remember, this is also on Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to listen to it there without, I guess they changed it. You could skip ahead and back with the Instagram stuff, but now they changed it again. But now it's in both. But anyways, as always, everybody out there, thank you for watching wherever you are in the world. I hope you have an amazing morning, evening, night, whatever it is. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you next live stream.